Patrick, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. As a listener, I'm very excited to also be on. So yeah, thank you.
I'm really excited to talk to you. We've met through different circles, Crystal Media. We're part of I was included in a mastermind group. Thank you very much with your team. And I am fascinated with, well, one, I can't wait to find out what you do with One Coast, because it didn't even dawn on me you were with One Coast until we sat down and all had lunch in the room. But your project, Heart on Main Street, is really interesting, and I can't wait for retailers to hear about it, because I don't know if a lot of retailers know about it, to be honest. And I figured this is a perfect platform for people to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it is brand new, or relatively new. It's been around a little over a year or so. We're starting to get word out there, and we're starting to gain some momentum. But the more people that know about it, the more people that can take advantage of the services that we offer.
Yeah. So, okay, before we get into all that, give everyone an introduction to yourself and a little bit of background on you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Patrick Keiser. I'm the executive director of Heart on Main Street. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping independent retailers, helping them grow their businesses, thrive within their local communities. Really, I came from and am in a wholesale background. I really grew up in a wholesale industry of family members that worked for wholesale. So I started off working in showrooms when I was 15, 16 years old, painting and doing setup there and sometimes sales during shows. But I would often then be told that I was better at the data entry part. So I guess maybe that was a reflection of my sales abilities. But learning really about the wholesale industry and became a teacher, went to school for that, became a teacher for about 6 years, left education and got back into wholesale. And education and training was really my background within wholesale, and was involved in that, but really just, I wanted to do more. I've always been so community focused of how can I build a better community? How can I help others build a better community? And really saw that in education from wanting my students to be good citizens and helping grow their community through education. And then through the wholesale part of helping other sales reps become good ambassadors of their lines, get good products in stores. But again, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do something more to directly help out the communities. And I saw by helping independent retailers, there's this whole economic ecosystem around independent retail, from being able to hire local people and buy from local artisans and employ other local businesses, that, if the stronger the local independent retail community is, that the stronger the economy is around that. And so I really saw that as an opportunity to really make a great difference. And so I launched Heart on Main Street at the beginning of 2022 to be able to provide those resources for retailers, and through education and help in areas that have been impacted by natural disasters, mentorships for retailers, and just be able to help them grow within their community.
Wow, that was a lot.
Sorry, I'm passionate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry.
I love the fact that you were an educator. First of all, I'm going to go back to when you were an educator. What did you teach, and what grades were you teaching?
Yeah, so I was a high school teacher. I taught mostly world history. So passion for world history, passion for beginning cultures and foundational cultures, and I also taught geography as well. So those are the main two subjects I taught. So 15, 16-year-olds mostly, which is a very fun age group. A lot going on at that time of their lives, and being a good mentor for them was something I loved doing.
You must have the patience of a saint, because I remember what I was like in that grade, and nightmare. My teachers, I still feel for them, but the teachers I will say that were the best teachers were the ones that really took you under their wing, and they understood your strengths and your weaknesses and really worked with that. And I had a math teacher that was horrible, but
everyone has a teacher or someone that was just awful, right?
My history teacher I adored, but I love your passion for educating is now part of educating with One Coast team. So with One Coast, you've been there 6 years. Did you start as director of training and development, or is that something that was kind of built up?
So I started off as just training and recruiting. That was really kind of my entry in. So initial hire interviews and really a lot focused on culture. One Coast focuses a lot on the culture of the organization, culture of their sales team, interactions, making sure it's not a strict or a kind of top down environment, but really being an area where people can communicate with each other. And so that was a huge project that I took on, was in some ways changing a culture of a company and going in and making sure it was a place that people wanted to work, that they were happy to come to work every day, that they felt supported, and that it was a good culture to bring people in. And so we focused a lot on emotional intelligence and how we interact with each other. So there's a big focus and just making it an area where people wanted to come work.
That's really interesting, because reps, for the retailers that know retailers know their reps and they know they work for, whatever showroom. But I don't know if retailers understand, some retailers or some reps are independent, some are employees. Are you training both freelance or independent and employees, or is everybody independent?
Yeah, so actually, One Coast model, everyone is employees. Okay. Everyone's an employee, and so it was all training of people that are coming into the company and that we were working with.
That's really smart, because I think that the companies that have, and it's no dig on anybody that has, because most of the showrooms I work for, all the reps are independent, but I think as a company culture, when you train everybody all together, you all have the same values, you all have the same training, you all have the same company culture. And I think that tends to be a more cohesive brand as far as like the people that are standing in front of the brand selling.
Yeah, and especially from a management side too. If everyone's going to be an employee and we're all repping the same lines, we're all having the same the same kind of structure, having your management make sure that they are supportive of the employees and making sure that they are taking care of them and supporting them. Of kind of the strict crackdown and having some conversations that go into areas where you make unhappy employees. So it was make sure that wasn't how we were communicating.
I love that. It's I think that's so key to successful companies. And I love One Coast. I bought for One Coast for years, so I know the showroom and I know the lines very well.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So when you decided to step out and start Heart on Main Street, it's a nonprofit, so there's a lot of tentacles to something like this, and to go out with the intention of helping small retailers from all across the country. How when that first idea came up, how do you start breaking that down and starting to implement it?
Yeah, so it was really a focus on, well, really, what are our focuses? So kind of the initial idea came from a conversation I was having with a small business owner, and they were really wanting to make a lot of changes within their business. It was, mid to late 2021, so much going on. Kind of, I know pivot is a 4-letter word here, but they were pivoting all over the place, right? And they just were tired of that and wanting to make a ton of changes to their business, from the look, the feel, the customers that they were bringing in, but just didn't necessarily know where to go. And so that was kind of one focus of the organization at first, was, well, let's create a network of companies that provide services to independent retailers so that they can have a place to go to find help in visual merchandising or social media, or even legal help, or help looking at a contract for their lease, marketing, branding, all of these different things that are involved, that there are companies out there that exist that maybe you don't know about. Maybe the retailer is unfamiliar. They enter into Google marketing and you get 10,000 different companies, and most of them don't know a small business and they don't know an independent retailer. So it was kind of one concept, was having this place where people could go. And then also, as we were forming, some things just kind of happened a little bit by happenstance. Hurricane Ian hit the Southwest Florida, and we saw that there was great need. A ton of retailers were just wiped out there, and we thought, okay, what could we do to help out retailers in that area? And as a nonprofit, we can raise money. What if we were able to give that back to retailers that were impacted by this and that needed help to restart their stores and get back on their feet? And so that was kind of another focus that we had, in this idea of raising money as a nonprofit. What would we do with that? And then, really wanting to look at how do we, from this concept of helping retailers thrive, helping them build their businesses, how can we most effectively connect them to these resources, connect them to maybe more experienced retailers, and have a mentorship program for them. So as you're starting off your business, you are not making the same mistakes that 10,000 other retailers have made before you, but you learn from someone who's been there, has gone through that, and you can avoid some of those pitfalls that happen to all retailers, and why 50% of them are out of business within 5 years of opening. So be able to, really usher them through that beginning process so they can remain within their community longer. So,
do you find that, because I find a lot, especially when I reach out for interviews and stuff like that, a lot of retailers, and from being in retail at Fred Siegel, like all of us, it seems like a lot of retailers are they hold their quote secrets very tight, and they're like I love the idea of mentorship, and I hate to say it, I can't picture a lot of retailers doing the mentorship thing because everyone sees it as a competition. And I've said all along, like, the stronger we are as an industry, the stronger everybody is. And that means sharing the highs and the lows so that, they don't repeat.
Yeah, we found a few. And a lot of times it's not, I will help out someone else in my community. It's something I will help out someone across the country from me where there's no competition, but as I've been talking to more experienced retailers and successful retailers, there's an interest in that, and so we're really starting to build that out. We'll have a pilot program of the mentorship this year, and really launch it to others, and have an application for that next year to be part of it. But there's some retailers that want to. There's some retailers that are interested in taking the 30, 40 years of experience that they've had and being able to impart that out to others. But you're absolutely right. Some are like, these are my secrets, my knowledge, and I kind of want to hold on to that. But I'm right there with you. The more that you can help out others within your community, the more that means people are coming into your shopping area, your downtown, that you're all helping build each other and build up the area. But we'll work with some, and if some don't want to, that's fine as well.
Do you know Ashley from the Boutique Hub?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love her tagline is community over competition. And it's, I think that for the retailers that are listening, if you are the only one on your block, you are going to have less traffic than if your whole block is full. Right. There, you all sell the same things. And it's funny because I came out of Fred Siegel, and Fred was my mentor, and there was very, very high competition there. Like, we were all under one roof, and we all, even though I sold women's, I could sell whatever women's I wanted, except for the fact that, my neighbor across the street had the line I wanted. And so it was very competitive. But Fred always had said, don't worry about what the other people are doing. Just worry about what you're doing. Stay in your lane. Don't look in your rearview window, because I was constantly like, well, that person has that I wanted that line. Stop. Just look forward. And I think that, for the retailers that are worried about the competition thing, it's like, if you're the only one on the block, you're not going to, that does not help you. Like, it's really about, I think, the community of retail in general.
Yeah, like your gift store benefits by having a successful boutique around, by having a successful children's store, by having a successful florist, and by having these other successful businesses in your area that brings more people in. More people will be coming to shop at your store too.
So the community where people are like, I don't have that, but I know so and so down the street does. Let me walk you down there, or let me point you in the direction. I mean, I think that just fosters more of a community feel versus like me against them. And not everybody's like that, but it's certainly, I've found that it's very, and I'm all for competition, but it's very competitive.
Yeah. And if you can work together like that, man, you can have events together. You can be doing other things that really bring people in. And you can do some amazing things if you're working together.
So when you launched this finally and you got your nonprofit certification, what is it called?
So a 501c3 status, I guess, from the IRS, which takes a while to do.
I heard that is like quite a process to go through.
They ask for a lot of things. Yeah, absolutely. Which for good reason. I guess you'd want to, make sure there are barriers in order to get a nonprofit started up. But it took a little bit to get that. So from kind of the beginning of 2022 until I think we officially got notice around Thanksgiving. So it took a good 8 months or so to get everything in order and get that filed and get approval for it.
Wow. So now that you're launched, how do you, like, for retailers that are listening to you right now, like, how does it work? Is it a platform? Is it something you sign up for? Is it something you pay for? Because I know you do different things, and I want to get into like when you start traveling and you start helping stores that have been hit by disaster. But how does an everyday retailer, what does it look like to be part of your organization?
Yeah. So right now we don't have a membership program yet. I kind of wanted to just all of our materials open and available, so you can find through our website, heartonmainstreet.org. And so just our webinars, we do a monthly webinar. We bring in people to talk about their expertise, from visual merchandising to social media to event planning. We just did one about financial planning and margin building. So really, you can register for webinars. If you register for one, you get a copy of it. So if it's middle of your day and you can't attend, completely fine. We have all of our webinars on our website. So you can come and view that information, get it for free. So we're pretty open, wanting to give resources for retailers, and for other things, the impact in areas that have been impacted by natural disasters. We really hear about areas, kind of follow areas impacted by natural disasters, and contact Chamber of Commerce's. So we're a little bit more proactive in going out and finding retailers and finding areas that we can help out there. Eventually, we probably will have a application process. Can go on there on our website, apply for help there, trying to get that really established and what that would look like. But so our other programs really kind of on our website, they're free, they're available for people to come and find.
That's incredible. And you're doing this all on your own time for free, as well as everybody else that's contributing to this who also care about the retail as an industry.
Yeah. I mean, so the webinars, we're thankful to have people that have just donated, an hour of their time, be able to come in and talk about a pretty open forum of whatever they want to talk about, different topics that they think are important. And, we're doing it on our own time.
Two topics that I'm even having challenges with trying to get guests on it, that are two very important pieces of retail that most small boutique retailers don't have access to, are loss prevention and HR. So do you have something on that? Because the loss prevention part of retail obviously is massive. And it's one of those things where I feel like every single retailer is struggling with trying to figure out, especially in California, with the people that race in, knock out your window and take. But even for the everyday person that's wherever, the kids, it's like what you're allowed to do, what you're legally allowed to do, what you're allowed to say, it's like there are so many things. And I feel like retailers are kind of lost in what to do. I know for HR, some of the payroll systems will have an HR person that's available to you, but by far and large, I think most small retailers also don't have an HR department. And same, there's a lot of things you can't say. And I actually am having an HR person on here. Thank God.
Good. Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Loss prevention though do you have anything like that or do you?
Don't yet. Those are actually really good topics. And so unfortunately, we haven't covered loss prevention or HR topics. Do know some people on the HR side, kind of some of my background that could help out with that. And we could do that. But yeah, I don't have, I'd love if you know of others that know loss prevention.
Trying to find out. I was asking so I could have somebody because loss prevention is one of the biggest things. And it's like really, I know when I was at Z Gallery, we had somebody come in once a month that would talk about, what you can with easy things to do. Like one of them is like, obviously a greeter is the number one prevention of somebody stealing because now they know you're there. But we were lucky. We had that built into the Z Gallery corporate part, but I don't think a lot of people have that. And it's always one of those things I wonder. So I was hoping maybe you can give me the name of somebody.
Fortunately, yeah, no, I'm sorry.
So because you are helping retailers through disaster, how are you raising money for this?
Yeah. A lot of it comes from wholesalers. So we have a partnership with wholesale companies, a lot of gift and home, just kind of where my background is, with One Coast, but a lot outside of that as well. That really it's an idea of these retailers have supported you. And so being able to help support them in a time of need. And so we have kind of two different branch structure for how wholesale companies can help out in areas of natural disaster. One is financial. So being able to donate some money, we try and give that money really does go directly back to independent retailers in the area. That sometimes is harder, right? To be able to cut a $5,000 or even, $500 check is sometimes difficult for companies. We do have also kind of this other structure, what we call our Jumpstart program, that is essentially works out to the wholesaler being able to donate a coupon code to Hard on Main Street that we are able to then give to the retailers. So as they're able to reopen their stores, they can cash in this coupon code either through the wholesale website or through their local sales rep. And they can get product, essentially free product, back into their store. So after they've rebuilt their store and redone everything, trying to take away at least one of those expenses of then having to reinvest back into product within their store. And so one of the retailers that we've done this with, we were able to give her about $25,000 wholesale of product. And so, she's able to get that money and that's $60,000 in retail that she can have selling through her products. So,
I had two questions. One is what's one of the biggest success stories that you guys came in and helped? I'm guessing it's the one that you're talking about, but talk a little bit about disaster, who the story is, and now where they're at.
Yeah. So in Fort Myers Beach, Florida, was really the first area that we, as we were forming, they were hit. We were looking at retailers in that area. So there's a retailer there. Her name's Anita Saraseta. She had 3 stores. So she had, it was called The Islander, Local Color, and The Pier Peddler. All 3 were completely wiped out. She lost her home as well. 2 of them, Local Color and Pier Peddler, the land with the shoreline changed within Fort Myers that she cannot rebuild her stores there. So she's just, and those were kind of the two of the bigger ones. So she was completely out on that. So we were able to provide a financial donation for her that she was able to use to kind of get through that time, but then also reinvest back into her store, redo the cash wrap area. And then as she was getting closer to being able to reopen her store, we're able to provide her with the $25,000 of wholesale product that I think she opens up either late March or early August or early April. And so should be coming up soon. I don't know when this will air, but she's either open or will be opening soon, and being able to restock her store with that. So that's been our, a really big success there. Also helped out a retailer in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, after they were hit by tornadoes last March, and the store really leveled, taken down to a concrete slab, and they're back open. They're able to restart their store. And they had a lot of federal help as well, which is really nice. But using that money to get their store back open. So it's amazing to see this, kind of here's where we were, and now, being able to make that help and being able to get them back on their feet and help them rebuild their store and recover.
I think the reason why I love this so much is, and I don't know if you knew this, but my background is Fred Siegel, but I had 3 stores and I lost them after the Northridge earthquake. And it was, there was no earthquake insurance in California at that point. Even my insurance broker, his office was in Northridge and it was leveled. And he said to me, Michelle, if we all knew that there was going to be this earthquake, he's like, it would have been a much different story. And, what people don't realize in disasters, and I could tell you firsthand, is you had product delivered at net 30. You still owe it. And now you don't even have the product to sell because it's been damaged, but you still have that net 30 bill. And I don't think a lot of people realize not only the physical damage of the building, but the financial of what you obviously lost, but those net 30 bills are still due.
They're still coming. And insurance doesn't always cover that. No. We've helped out 5 different retailers. Every single one of them has had an issue with insurance. And either in Florida, flood insurance is crazy expensive. So a lot of retailers just don't have it. Yeah. And so a hurricane, it is a flood. The tide waters come in, a 12-foot storm surge came into Fort Myers Beach. And that's, if you didn't have flood insurance companies weren't covering the damage or the loss of product. Insurance rates have also gone up incredibly over the last couple of years. And so the cost of construction has gone up. So what was, if you had, a $200,000 worth of coverage, that doesn't cover as much as it did 5 years ago. Yeah. So you might have been completely covered, but now you're not. And it might be 50% coverage or, 75. And so the rest is on you.
I love that you're doing, like I said, just because I don't think when retailers are listening to this, I don't think everyone really realizes that how massive and how many layers there are to this disaster. Your employees, did it during COVID, but thank God, the state came in and there was, ways to get money. But when you have an accident, when you have something like that, there's no safety net. It's like so I love you doing this. You also, I love seeing your videos where you're going out and you're going down to Main Street, certain towns and cities and stuff like that. Talk to me a little bit about that because I love watching that.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you. That was kind of conceptualized at, member of the Retail Horror Podcast universe, Crystal Volkaitis's event last year, Evolve Conference. And it was this idea of putting yourself out there more. As I started the organization, I was, we're going to do good things. We're going to be behind the scenes. I'm going to kind of work in these areas and we'll do this. And I don't necessarily want to put myself on camera. I don't want to really be the face of things. And she encouraged me. You have to be out there. If you kind of want to grow this, you want people to know about it, you need to put yourself out there. And so, I was trying to think of all right, how do I do that? What is this concept? And, going to towns, going to Main Street areas and, doing a tour, a walk through and meeting with the retailers there. And so, we call it a Main Street Monday. So every Monday I'm driving out to different towns and I kind of drew about a 300-mile circle around my house in Chicago and, it said, it's a, to the extent of that, that's, basically a 5-hour drive. I can get there, spend a couple hours in the town and get back within the day. And so I'm just trying to go out, and part of it is a little bit, we're a new organization, right? So retailers don't know about Heart on Main Street, and trying to let them know that we exist. Here are some of the services that we offer for you. Here's where you can find those things. But from kind of the tours of downtowns and talking with retailers, I also really want to encourage this, shopping local or going to visit your downtowns, and encouraging people that, hey, you have a really cool, unique area that you can go to. You have these great stores there. This is, you might take it for granted, but really appreciate what you have in this area and the historic buildings that are here, or this store that's been here for 100 years. Really appreciate that and how unique it is, and that you don't have this in all parts of the country. And so just encouraging people to shop local, to go to their downtowns, to visit their retailers, to understand what they have just right in their local areas and learn about it.
You're doing what I should be doing. I love it. Because I know you had to get Crystal how to give you a nudge like she does everybody. Is that nudge? How comfortable are you now? How comfortable are you now? Going, because you look very comfortable on camera now. You're out there on the street.
Right. It took a few times. It took a couple that were I would get the butterflies and be like, okay, I don't want to go live. I don't want to do this. And even driving into the town and be like, oh man, I don't want to. Oh, can I just have a car accident or something and not actually get there? But then now I think we visited over 30 towns, and it's just okay, pop it on. I entered it in my little title, pop it on live. Let's go. Walk and talk, and almost got hit by a couple cars, but that's okay. So
how are people because you film in the stores, do you go and is it, I say ambush, but do you go and just walk in, or do you go in, introduce yourself? Is it okay if we film and then start?
Yeah, so I'll reach out ahead of time as well. Myself, and I have a person that works on marketing and social media with me. And then so we'll reach out ahead of time and say, hey, I'm coming to your town. Would you mind if I came into your store and took pictures and feature your store as part of this Main Street Monday series? A lot don't respond. We'll message through Instagram. If they don't follow us, then it goes into that request folder that no one checks. So email, and sometimes the response is there. So then I'll go in and ask whether I can feature their store. Say I'm doing a Main Street Monday tour of the town and featuring the town and the retailers there. Would you want to be a part of this? And most people are, if I'm speaking to the owner, completely fine with that. They want kind of some free publicity or to be included as part of the town. Others, it's interesting. If it's not the owner, there's sometimes just this trepidation. I don't want to make that decision. I don't know. I don't know who you are. Some people are like, oh yeah, absolutely, please. And others, I need to talk to them first. So
yeah, it's funny. I get that. I get the ghosting a lot. Not a lot, but I get a good amount of ghosting. And then of course, the name in. But for the most part, even with the DMs, or if I don't follow them and they don't follow me, I for the most part, I get responses, and okay. But I mean, there's definitely the ones that, especially the ones that don't want to talk about their secrets. Those are the ones that get ghosted on a lot. So talk to me a little bit about what the next things you're doing or rolling out, or what you're excited about coming up in the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah. A couple of things that I'm very excited about. We're starting to work with a new retailer. She's in Ely, Minnesota. So basically way up near the Canadian border, and working with her on, she's starting out her store, and she was looking out for resources, first-hand account resources of people that have just started their store, and wanting to learn from them and what was going on, what they had to go through, and struggling to find some of that stuff. So she reached out to us, and so we're going to do kind of an interview series with her about what she's doing, her journey in her first year of ownership, how, different struggles that she's going through, different successes that she's had. It's a kind of a touristy summer town, so her build up for summertime, the involvement in the events there. And so really excited about that. I think that'll be really fun to have kind of this test case of, working with her, helping provide her with some resources. So I mentioned kind of this pilot project for our mentorship. And so she'll be involved in that and helping her get some resources to launch her store and make sure she's successful. So really, really excited about that. Working with some vendors that will have some products for this summer that will benefit Heart on Main Street. So Primitives by Kathy and Nora Fleming are two that we worked on.
Nora yesterday. Love her.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Fantastic. So right now, and we're talking with some other brands about this concept as well, but having some items that the proceeds of it or portion of the proceeds go back to Heart on Main Street. Right. And so allow us to, again, reinvest back or help out those retailers. And also it's a product coming from them, but it's not writing the check, which sometimes is difficult for any company. So it's a different concept there. So really, really excited about that.
I adore Nora, and what I love so much is about how much she gives and how much she believes in giving back. And I've said this a lot on the podcast, is I believe whatever size company you are, every company, every human needs to give back in some sense, whether it's volunteering time or, spending, folding up clothes and sending them out to the homeless, or doing homeless outreach, or, volunteering at a dog shelter, or whatever it is. I just feel like humans need to do this, and especially businesses. Like, we are all so blessed in like what we have, and it's like there's so many like situations where people don't have that or access to resources and whatnot. And I love that you guys are doing this, and I love that to hear that Nora is doing it with you, because I love that woman.
Yeah, and I've always just been whatever access to resources I have, just be able to give that out. Holding on to them for me does me no good. Give those to who needs that. And I believe strongly in giving back and helping everyone be more successful. So
love that. Okay, last two questions. Because you are still in the industry, where do you find inspiration, whether it be for giving back or for the showroom?
You asked this, so I've been thinking about it, and I prepped myself. But I find inspiration from a lot of different areas. First off, my wife, we talk about everything so often, and she is just like, she doesn't work with the organization at all, but it's just kind of this like silent cheerleader and silent partner of, here's what I think you could do, and wouldn't it be great if you did this, and just all of these ideas. So it's not my inspiration; it's a lot of her ideas, which I'm so blessed to be able to have someone to bounce those ideas off of, and for her to be a great inspiration for me. I do really want to make things better. I want to make better communities, and you have a small child, and I want to see them be have a world where there are larger and better communities. And so I find that as a great inspiration too, of just wanting to make this world that I envision. So those, and then I have some really great mentors as well, that I can sit down for breakfast with them, and we just spitball back and forth all these ideas, and I come away invigorated and inspired. And so I have some really great people in my life that are able to help inspire me.
I love that. And what is a piece of advice that you would give any retailer listening to this?
Any retailer. I do. I mean, we'll go back. I think, helping out each other, the more that you can do together. And I know it's difficult, but a dollar in somebody else's till is not a dollar away from yours. That the more that you can help your business community grow, if you are involved in your downtown, downtown development organizations or your Main Street organization. I think it's really important to be involved in those, what the business development or whatever they call it in your area. Somebody is making decisions about how business is done in your community. It might as well be you. You might as well be a part of that, and helping out others and really sharing ideas with each other, I think, is really, really important. So any way that you can be involved in your community to help others, to direct the way that events are done or business is conducted in your area, I think it's really, really important.
Love that. Tell everybody about where they can find you, Instagram, any of your handles.
Yeah. So Instagram, Heart on Main Street, TikTok, the same. Experiment there. I don't know what we're doing on TikTok, but we're trying. It's brand new. I don't know. I'm scared of it. But Facebook, we have Facebook page, Heart on Main Street, and then a website, heartonmainstreet.org. So you can find, trying to brand that everywhere.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm so glad to get to know you, and I'm so excited for retailers to get to know you and hear about this. And it's like, I really hope that it inspires other retailers to step up and do something and, become part of a community.
Yeah, Michelle, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Thank you.